Oh, hello. Yeah, guys. Today we're going through a massive list of edge rushers. This is a group of guys that are very, very, very good, very, very scary, very, very big, very, very athletic, very, very fast. With that outside the way, let's get into it. 20. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the 2025 NFL edge rusher rankings. These are all pass rushers. I understand all these guys are supposed to stop the run too, but their main job is to rush pass. That's really what an edge rusher is in the NFL. That's kind of why they're there. Anyway, though, we have like 140 guys to go through, so I'm gonna try to get through this pretty quick. Again, I'm pretty creative with these tiers, but basically it's your normal like F tiers down here and S tiers up here sort of thing. But without that said, I'll get into these tiers. Team order as well, so I kind of know where I'm going with this. With that said, though, the bottom tiers, they don't play. This is probably the one position where I'll be completely honest with you guys. You need a sample size for me to actually think you're a decent player, or not if you're like just that good. But if they don't play, they're gonna go in this tier because they're not good enough to get on the field. It's that simple. FFS, and I mean again, it stands for F. You know what? Sake, like guys, like these guys, like what the hell are they doing out there? Smoke and mirrors. I mean, guys, they're just like flailing their hands around. Like they're really not doing much that's gonna get things done. Lunch pail guys. I kind of get through that one to ChatGPT. I don't even know what to put. These are like the decent guys. I don't know. They'll make plays, but they're really not that great. And they're more of a rotational guy overall. Rocks give you consistent pressure, but like not really much more. Feared. I don't know. Are these guys really like number one guys? Who really knows? But they definitely give you quality play. True. I mean, this is more to MMG obviously, but yeah, these are your number one pass rushers, guys. They're that good. The whole box. This is basically like you think of like the like analogy to like a pass rusher's move arsenal is like a toolbox. These guys have a complete box. Not exactly like in terms of their technician. Like I mean, it's kind of hard to find guys in the NFL at least these days that have complete toolboxes and that are actually that effective. This is more of just encompassing everything. Like they're a complete player, or they're just really freaking good at one thing. And then three guys ain't enough. These are the elite edge rushers where you could have three guys try to block them, and it's just really not going to work out too well. With that said, we'll start out with Greg Rousseau, who I'm going to throw right into true because I think he's the number one pass rusher for sure. It's just like the thing is that he hasn't really put up truly elite numbers yet, and his pressure rate has really never been an elite mark either. But as a number one guy, and the fact that again he really does get a lot of pressure put on him on that Bills defense, and he has to make a lot of plays, and the fact that he's able to do that as well as maintaining a pretty consistent pressure rate is very, very impressive. As well as the fact that he's a pretty interesting move arsenal, which I will not get into today because that would make this a movie. I'll be probably pretty quick with these. Joey Bosa, for me, I'm going to put him in rock. I still think he'll give you consistent pressure, but guys, he's had like 15 injuries. He hasn't really been at least statistically a good player, and on film hasn't looked consistently dynamic since 2021. I don't know where else to put him, guys. He's going to go on rock. Is he feared? I mean, maybe for some people. But, like, he has not played enough. This is what I'm talking about. Did they play? I don't know. It's so, again, pass rush is so volatile that way. Again, if they don't play, it's kind of hard for me to say they're a good pass rusher outside of, again, the top guys. So, he's going to go on rock. Again, were there times in his career, was he up here? Yeah, probably. But, again, he has not played in the past 4 seasons. I don't know what to tell you. And when he has, again, especially 2023, what has he done to really show you much? Again, obviously he's a good player, but, like, I don't know what to much go off right now. I hope he can be held through the Bills in a rotational role. A.J. Epineza, he's a lunch pail guy. He's a guy that can give you some pressure, but he really has never been a guy that's given you a solid pressure rate to actually constitute putting him in rock. But again, he's a solid guy. You want him on your team because he gives you quick pressure. But overall, he's just not a guy that I'm too like fond of. He's just never really been a guy that I can really consider a really good solid starter. Landon Jackson, I understand he's a rookie, but I think he will be a rock this year for this Bills defense. He'll be put in a lot of roles where he'll have to be stopping the run, which I haven't really gotten much to. Honestly, I don't really care about stopping the run again unless it's a big issue. But this will be a part of his game where that'll be huge for him this year. And if he's able to, again, maintain that sort of level of play, I think he will get some good opportunities to put on his bull rush as well as his explosive second step, which, again, is a very underrated part of his game. Up next, we got Jalen Phillips. He doesn't play either. He's been injured, like, again, at some point the past 3 seasons. But when he's on the field, he is feared. I'm going to probably put him in this tier. Again, like I said, the reason I put him here is because last season, before he got injured, he really didn't play too great. And I understand the first few seasons of his career was really good, but the injuries are an issue, and the fact that again I didn't see that same explosiveness that we saw again earlier in his career, and the fact that he's one of the most athletic. No, I gotta put him in true, guys. No, again, he just hasn't been healthy. I don't know where else to tell you guys. Like until Jalen Phillips plays a whole holiday season, which he hasn't done since, I don't even know, 2022. How do I put him in this tier? It's just not fair. You can't rely on him as a number one guy, despite when he's on the field being one of the better guys. But even then, like, the production, and I film how good he is, but, like, I can't go off of that, because last year he played, 6 games? He's got to stay healthy. If he's able to do that at least somewhat, play 12 games, and again, the film looks great, he's going to obviously go up here. That's how talented he is. But, again, he can't stay healthy. I don't know where else, tell you guys. He's got to figure that out. Bradley Chubb's going to go right next to him. They're very similar. He didn't even play it all last year, so I don't even know if he does belong here. But again, when he was on the field in 2023, he was absolutely amazing for them. So, again, him and Jalen Phillips are in a very similar situation. But Jalen Phillips is just a better player, to be honest with you guys. But at the same time, I don't know. It's weird with those two. But again, they were their number 1, 2 in 2023 for most that year. This is, what's his name? I don't even know what is this guy's name. It's not Julian Okwara, is it? I literally just went over him. I think it is Julian Okwara, right? No. It's going to go through this, isn't it? What are we on? Dolphins? This is Mo Kamara. Mo Kamara just didn't play last year. And that's just the fact that, again, he really wasn't ready for the league. Matthew Judon probably shouldn't go here. I mean, guys, he was awful last year. He got way too many snaps last year. He's old. He's washed. He tore his ACL in 2023. He was not good that year. I mean, he was pretty good that year before he got injured. But, 2022 was very good, but then he's just been kind of terrible after that injury, and I don't really think much is changing with him. He was just not good. Bro, why is Chop so happy? He's going right in true. He was so good as a rookie. I was shocked at how just absolutely, dynamic he was. And the fact he consistently won the way he did, because you're just thinking coming in the league, he's such a raw prospect. And he has elite athleticism in a lot of ways and a lot of good measurables, but how much is this really gonna work when he really doesn't have any sort of plan? But his ghost move was great. I mean, there's a lot of things that you gotta like about Chop Robinson. The bottom line is this guy was an absolute dog last year, and there's really another reason they shouldn't just put all 3 of these guys in the field. But he's not going here because again, he's a rookie, and he also didn't have a massive sample size either. We'll see if that pressure rate holds up as well as the pass rush win rate, which I don't love, but it is a number you gotta pay attention to. Was Jermaine Johnson injured last year too? I don't even remember. I think he tore his Achilles, right? He was really good in 2022. 2023, my bad. You get tore his Achilles. Jermaine Johnson, for me, when he's on the field, is a really solid player. I'm going to put him in feared probably just because I think there's still a lot of room to grow with him. But again, when he's on the field, he's a very, very good set of moves. And just the fact that he consistently is able to win against guys and get displacement as well is just very fun to watch. Will McDonald's got to go right next to him. Again, he slowed down towards the end of the year, which again is probably the reason I'm putting him here because he put together a really consistent season, but he was phenomenal to start the season. I don't know if he's a true number 1 guy just yet. One of those guys I think will be able to take that reign, or both of them. That would be even better. But again, both of them had strong seasons. Again, 2024 for Will McDonald, 2023 for Jeremiah Johnson. They can both play well on the field. Again, I think they can both boost themselves up into the number 1 tier, of course, being true. So that would be good. But again, I think it's one of those rare cases where again, it's one guy, they're not hurting each other, they're actually really helping each other. This is, what's his name? I don't even know. Who are we going with here? For the Jets. I don't know who this dude is, but he's been great in preseason from what I saw. Michael Clevins, maybe? Do we just go? No, this is Michael Clevins, right? Is that Tyler Barron? I think that is. Michael Clemens for me is going to go in lunch pail, guys. He's a solid rotational guy. Again, he's more good against the run than an actual pass rusher. I understand he had good production last year. I don't see that holding up, though, because he has a pretty mediocre bull rush, and that's really all he did much of last year. Tyler Barron for me, as a rookie, I think he'll be more smoke and mirrors than anything. I think there's definitely some game to him, just because of the fact that he is able to consistently win is probably the best way to put it, to a stretch from last year. But he's still not a guy that's really that awesome on tape, and there's, again, a lot of stuff to work on with him. I don't really know if he's gotten too much better yet. Harold Landry, he's a rock. He is not a consistent pass rusher. He just simply is not. The numbers aren't bad because of how high of volume he has, and as a run defender, he's never been the greatest. He's got to get more consistent pressure, though, and win more often with the subpar stuff, I guess you'd probably, again, he's like a pitcher like with okay stuff, mediocre. He's like a guy who just throws a lot of innings. I mean, you're gonna eventually like and hit the wall there, but he's definitely a reliable guy again, especially coming off the Achilles in ACL in 2022. He gets very similar to the past 2 seasons. And again, I understand he was in a pretty bad situation in Tennessee last year, but like there's definitely better guys. He's not really a true number 1 guy. What do we got? Keon White, Calvin Chason, and who else for the Patriots? I don't know this guy's face. Patriots. What do we got? Harold. I guess they're running a sub there. Not Christian Barmore. Keon White's there. And Fernie Jenkins maybe. And Fernie Jenkins, guys, with all due respect, he's not a good pass rusher, but he's got to go in lunch pail, guys, just about how good of a run defender he is, and he does a lot of just versatile stuff for this defense. He's one of the rare guys in this list that I think transcends his pass rush makeup and is able to kind of build off that. And he's also a pretty explosive guy overall. I don't hate him at all. I just don't think he's just not a pass rusher at the end of the day. Calvin Chason, again, like, why is he here, bro? Keon White's going to go in feared. He was so good last year. And again, him moving off to the outside, I think he's definitely a little bit of a question mark. But again, it's question mark on the up sort of thing. Braden Swinson, I don't know how much chance he'll get as a rookie, but I'm going to say he'll probably be smoke and mirrors. I understand I really like his bull rush. He's a very rare guy in the later rounds. We're going to get that out of him. But there's still a lot of stuff that's a little bit concerning in the league, especially with a guy who might have not really shown his full arsenal that I think he definitely has in the back pocket. But I think it'll definitely be a little bit of a weird year for him. Trey Henderson, right up to the top tier. Again, unless you're like, I don't even know. It's very hard to lead the league in sacks or be close to leading the league in sacks if you're not one of the best pass rushers in football. It's that simple. Again, numbers speak volume. Even though, again, I don't think he was the most efficient or the highest pressure rate guy last year, there were many games where, again, even a decent offensive lineman really just struggled to even contain him for at least a second. His pass rush arsenal is very interesting because, again, it's not really one you'd think that would be made up for as an elite edge rusher. But, again, every guy's different in a lot of ways. But, again, especially on film. But, again, he's an absolute just straight-up disruptor. And, again, there's not really many guys that can really consistently block him. Shamar Stewart, I think he'll have a solid season. A lot of people are like, what the hell is this guy? What is he talking about? He's just a really solid pass rusher in a lot of ways. I think he'll do a lot of good things for this defense, even though, again, a lot of people just think, like, who the hell is this dude? But my prospect profile on him was really good. I liked him a lot. He's just, again, I think he'll have a good season, like, for a rookie. Like, he'll do, again, the numbers won't be too bad. But at the same time, I don't expect him to be anything crazy. But I think he'll be a respectable guy for sure. Him and Landon Jackson, obviously very different players. But, I just really like his pass rush makeup. And the fact that, again, he's a guy who doesn't really rely on any sort of one thing, I think is very important. Keep going. Who do we have left in the Bengals? We got Myles Murphy. Who else? Joseph Osai. Maybe did he leave them? Or is he still around? Yeah, he is. And we got Cam Sample, I think. We're just going to go in order. This is Joseph Osai for just the heck of it. He is not good. He lost the Bengals the AFC Championship like 3 years back, and he really hasn't done anything since then. Myles Murphy did not play last year. He's a guy that absolutely sucks. Please be better. You're getting a chance to start. Please don't suck because they really need you. Shamar Stewart's better than him, though. I really think that. As a rookie, he had some decent plays last year, which is completely awful. I don't really tell you guys. He just doesn't play. But, like, this is tough. Because he hasn't played enough for me to actually give him something. But he's been bad when he's played. That's what I'll say there. Cam Sample, I think, is smoke and mirrors. He'll give you some sort of rotational value, but that's really about it. Miles Sanders is still the best edge rusher in football, probably the best defensive player in football. His numbers last year weren't absolutely astronomical to his standard, but he still got the best bull rush in football, combined with his absolutely torrid cross chop. But at the same time, like, there's another guy we'll get to later that I think definitely gives him a run for his money. But again, considering who Myles Garrett is, he's been doing it this long, and he's still probably the most powerful guy in the NFL. You got to give him his props there. But I think there's definitely one guy we'll also get to later who I think will definitely take the crown because, honestly, again, he doesn't have the strongest grip on it right now. Again, it's not really, like, it's him and, like, a couple other guys that are kind of, like, just, it's a little bit cloudy right now, or murky for who's the best edge rusher in football. It's not some, like, crazy runaway like it is with cornerback and Pat Surtain. With that said, though, keep moving on with the Browns. I think we got Isaiah McGuire. They're just a bunch of randos, to be honest with you guys. Isaiah McGuire for me, I think is actually not too bad, but he's just not really a good run defender, and he's just very stiff as a player overall. He doesn't have much bend. He's not smoke and mirrors though, because he will get you decent pressure. Alex Wright, I think, is completely overrated by a lot of those Browns beat reporters. He's not that good. Cool. He's schooling their freaking, what is it, DeJuan Jones? Like, what is that telling you, to be honest with you guys? Joe Tryon is honestly not even that bad. I understand that he really didn't live up to any sort of expectation he had with the Bucs, but overall he'll give you solid play. Again, when you think about it, like a grand scheme of things, but yeah, he was definitely a disappointment with the the Browns. Not the Browns. The Bucs. There we go. Who else? Got Julian Okwara. Yeah, he didn't play. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. He just didn't play last year. Kyle Van Noy for me, I think is feared. Is he? I think that's fair to say. I really just can't say that he's a true number one guy. But guys, he's put up really good numbers statistically the past couple of years. And again, he's just a guy who gets pressure, and he's got actually a really interesting arsenal for a guy who just used to be a sub linebacker. He's done a great job at transitioning as an edge rusher because he's just a guy you don't want to face. He's got a lot of stuff he's going to use, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to be cooked. Again, he's just a guy who does capitalizes on mistakes. Mike Green, as a rookie, I think there'll be some learning moments for him. He's better than Shamar Stewart and Lamb Jackson, but I think I gotta put him in fear. He was my number one of my top prospects, and I think again I gotta put him here. I don't know if he'll get the play time. That's the only issue, but I really think he's the second best edge rusher on this team right now. And I think he should get the shots. In terms of talent, again, we're talking about like projection-wise. Because obviously Kyle Van Noy is a better player than he is right now. Mike Green has yet to really develop a third move, which again is going to be a big part of his game. He still has a decent inside enough counter, so I think he'll be okay. But I expect him to have a good enough year when he's on the field. But we'll see what happens. Again, with Odafe Oweh there, it's kind of and again, why is he behind Adesai? Who knows? I think which one? This is Odafe Oweh, right? I don't even care at this point. We're gonna say this is Odafe Oweh. It's not, but we'll go in this order. Wait, which one is it? I don't want to get this one wrong. Is this frozen? Are we going to stay frozen for a minute until we catch up on what we're going to be? Yeah, this is Odafe Oweh. Odafe Oweh for me is going to go in... Yeah, I'm putting him in true. He's so dynamic. And the fact that I think that, yes, the statistics really haven't... Again, he had, was it 10 sacks last year? Yeah. He's got to be a number one guy for me, though. Like, honestly, I think he's proven enough for me. Again, he wins very consistently. He's got a solid third move now. Even a fourth he's starting to work on. But he's just a guy, in my opinion, that's kind of, like, developed off of the fact that he can just really beat you off the line very, very consistently. That was what he had coming in the league. He's really developed other stuff. And, again, he's always been a great run defender. And the fact that that is a true statement is going to really help him here. But I think, again, he's a really good guy. Outside of that, though, they got Adisa Isaac, Tavius Robinson. Who else? I don't even know why Tavius Robinson is on here. I think he is. We're just going to say this is Tavius Robinson. He doesn't really play that much. This isn't always a bad thing. But, again, guys, if you do not play, you probably suck. I'm sorry. That's just the simple truth about that. Adisa Isaac, yeah, he's smoking mirrors. He's not awful, but I don't love him. And then we got David Ojabo, who, like, again, like, just completely is just broken at this point. But, hey, he's looked good in preseason. TJ Watt right up to the top tier. He's always been that good. But, again, maybe a little bit of dip in terms of the efficiency last year. Nick Herbig is a very good or is it Herbig? I don't really care. It's the edge rusher one. The other one's a freaking center, right? He's going to go on rock. He's a really good rotational guy. Jack Sawyer's rookie, I think it'll be a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but I think overall he'll give you decent play. And then you got Alex Highsmith, who is going right and true. He's one of them, probably the best number 2 edge rusher in football outside of some other guys who we'll get to later. But yeah, he is absolutely just straight up dominant. Kwity Paye is a lunch pail guy. He's just not going to give you the high ceiling enough pressure to really be considered anything else. Laiatu Latu's going right there as well. He wasn't really that good as a rookie, and I hope he plays better. JT Tuimoloau, honestly, as a rookie, he's going to be smoking mirrors. There's going to be a lot of plays where I'm like, where the hell is this dude? But there's going to be other plays where you're like, solid play. Michael Hoyt, they use him the right way. He's not really a lunch pail guy. He's smoking mirrors. Because that's really what he was with the Rams. He found a role, but I really loved him with us. But let's be completely honest, guys. He's a smoke and mirrors pass rusher. If he does not have the defensive coordinator completely scheming out things happening, probably not going to be a consistent guy in terms of pressure. Samson Ebukam, he's got to go and rock just because of the fact that even with him coming off that Achilles injury or whatever it was, he will be giving you at least decent enough pressure. Really going into last year is making a push for this year because of how good he was in 2023. But I got to be realistic with him right now. Coming off the injury, I don't expect him to be putting up anything crazy in terms of numbers. Tyquan Lewis, for me, is also smoking mirrors. He's a solid backup, but he only can be so good with the fact that he really only has anything more than maybe a speed to power. Trayvon Walker, for me, is going to go in true. He's really freaking good. Emmanuel Ogbah, smoking mirrors at this point in his career. Josh Allen, this is kind of why I created the tier, because I don't think he's up here, but he's pretty darn close. The whole box is probably the right place to put him. His numbers last year were a little bit down, but he's still very, very good overall. And relative to the fact that he's one of the most athletic players in the entire NFL and just so quick off the edge, he's got to go right here. Again, Monster 2023 season, absolutely start to that last season in a lot of ways, but overall just still wasn't too consistent overall. Dwayne Smoot, he's in the lunch pail, guys. I like him a lot. Very, very hard guy to move off the edge. Danielle Hunter right next to Josh Allen. I don't think they're in this tier. They're just not there, but they're very, very close. It's like a elite A, elite B sort of thing. Daniil Hunter, phenomenal season. Really nothing to complain about other than the fact that he's kind of old. This is their other guys. That Danico Autry. I think they still have him, right? I might be wrong on that. Yeah, they do. No, they have Derek Barnett, right? No, he's injured. They got Derek Barnett, Darrell Taylor, if he's here. I don't even know if Darrell Taylor's here. Derek Barnett is, right? Yeah, he is. Derek Barnett sucks. Danico Autry, for me personally, I'm going to throw him in Rock, probably. I think, again, he's definitely more effective on the interior, to be honest with you guys, but he still puts up numbers, even though he only played in 10 games last year and really didn't get much pass rush opportunities. Again, he was absolutely torrid in 2021 and 2022. 2023, I think the run defense grade went down a little bit. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really watch much of him as a run stuffer because I don't really care about that part of his game. But as a pass rusher, getting a little bit of a dip. But last year, he looked pretty solid in terms of the consistency on the tape from, like, what was it, like the 50 snaps I watched. Will Anderson, though, he's going to go in whole box. He's one of the best edge rushers in football as well, but not quite as good as another young stud. But, yeah, he's absolutely phenomenal. His two finesse moves are very good on the top. That he's a very good spin move. To go on top of the fact that he's kind of developed a little bit better of a straight arm to kind of put it together some sort of power game. I'm going to say this is Arden Key because he's the best pass rusher on this team. If you go over the Titans. If you can get to them, yeah, right? Because we got Arden Key. Where is he? And then Draymond Jones, who is this dude, right? No, I don't know. Where's Draymond Jones? No, that's Draymond Jones. Arden Key, for me, I think, is a lunch pail guy. He's just not a guy that I think is really all that. I might, no, don't put him wrong. I don't think I can. He's fast, which I really like, because that part of his game is really what kind of sets everything else up. And the fact that he does have games where he's really hard to contain. It doesn't really matter with the fact that his tool package really isn't much more than maybe a decent swipe move, but that's really pushing it, to be honest with you guys. Draymond Jones going right next to him. He's solid, but like he just doesn't really give you the pass rush consistency to really be put anywhere else. Flemmy, whatever the guy's name is, I like this guy a lot, but like let's be honest, guys, he's more of smoke and mirrors at this point in his career. He's got some stuff to work on, but I think that's me being a little bit more negative than anything. And then I think we got Jalen Harrell, and I don't even know who this is. Jalen Harrell is just not very good. He also hasn't really played, so I'll just throw him here. And then obviously Lawrence Carter. You know where you're going. Broncos guys, I'm gonna be honest, do not know their faces very well. We got, what is it, Jonah Ellis. What's the other guys? Not John fucking Myers. Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito. I'm just gonna assume this is Nick Benito to start. No, I think that is, right? Am I right on that? Yeah, this is Nick Benito. Nick Benito for me is going in true. You can't tell me in good faith that with the consistency of pressure last year and on film, the fact that he can more often than not made the first move, me say that he that's not a sustainable part of his game. I think he'll put up really solid numbers. Yes, inflated numbers for sure last year. He's not going to put in, what was it, like 80, no, I think it was like 78 pressures. Not happening. But the improvement from, what is it, year 2 to year 3, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, year 2 to year 3 was tremendous. And this is a guy that you cannot take lightly. Q Robinson probably won't play this year. I'm just going to go with this. Who is it? Freaking Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper had a solid season. I think he's a rock overall. He's a very versatile guy. And the fact that he really is just tremendously relentless is something just not really something you want to have to work against. I think what do you got? Jonah Ellis, who had a lot of statistically was really good. I'm gonna throw him in a lunch pail because that's simply what he played like last year. And then Dondre Tillman also, he had a solid season. Yeah, he had 5 sacks. He's just not a guy that I think rotationally wise fits in the greatest. He's still gonna be a lunch pail guy though, because when I saw on film, he was very dynamic. Chargers guys, what do we have? Khalil Mack, Tuli Tuipulotu, Bud Dupree, and who's that other guy? Bud Dupree's still in the league. That's just astonishing to me. Kyle Kennard? No way. I guess it is. Kyle Kennard's at a BC, right? Or South Carolina or something. No, South Carolina. That's what I thought. Tuli Tuipulotu is going to go in true. He had an absolutely great season last year. He's one of the most deep guys in terms of a toolbox in football. Even though he really doesn't have one move that's completely elite, he uses them all really well, which again shows how crafty he is. Khalil Mack's going to go right next to him. I understand he really wasn't coming off his best year, but he had, what was it, 18 sacks, something crazy like that in 2023. And the pressure rate really wasn't all that different. Bud Dupree is not good. No, you know, he'll go in smoke and mirrors. He had a better season than I thought he would have had last year. And then Kyle Kennard probably won't play. George Karlaftis is going to go up here. not quite elite. Charles Omenihu, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to go in rock. He's going to give you good pressure, even though he may not always be the most fun guy to exactly have to deal with for Andy Reid, I guess. Mike Dana's got to go in feared. He just, like, the guys, the pressure rate and on film, the fact that he was able to, I don't even know how to describe it. He had like a double step move. It was very funky. But the fact that he was able to use that a lot, and that was kind of his way to get into a pin pull swim, which is very creative. And again, it's just like you got to see what he can do this year. But yeah, he was very, very good. I don't even know if you can fair to call him really a number 2 guy at this point. Like him and George Karloff kind of 1A, 1B in a lot of ways. Ashton Gollett, I guess. I don't know. He's probably not going to play either. Max Crosby, right up here. He's that guy, even though he got injured last year. Tyree Wilson's so frustrating. He's the lunch pill guy for now, though. He's got to step up, though. I mean, like, guys, at some point. I understand last year he kind of saved the season like he kind of did in 2022, but like I really don't care at this point, bro. Play well. Malcolm Goots was injured last year. But when he's been on the field, like at least 2023, he was an absolute monster. He had like 2 or 3 bull rush variations that were just absolutely unstoppable. I'm gonna put him in rock for now, though. No, he's got to go in feared. I get the injury and stuff, but like still, like he was too good in 2023. And then Charles Snowden's gonna go in smoke and mirrors. He's not the worst guy in the world. All right, Commanders dudes. We got what is it? Dorrance Armstrong. Are they still rocking Cleveland Farrell out there as a starter? There's no way they are. Thank God. G.J. Wise. That's Cleveland. This is Cleveland Farrell, right? What's up with Cleveland Farrell? Yeah. Dorrance Armstrong for me is a rock. He isn't a number 1 guy. I really don't think that. Especially after like what I saw on film like earlier in July. I just didn't really see enough from his overall tape to really think that he's impactful enough on a down-and-down basis to be thought of that. And also statistically, it didn't really hold up either, mostly at least. Cleveland Farrell, like, bro. And then where are we gonna put what's his name? T.J. Wise. I'm gonna put him in lunch pail, guys, because he's had one really good season. And again, I think he's a little bit more consistent than Josh Uche, just to make a comparison. But he's not a guy who's a run defender, even though playing on the interior has really improved that much going out to the edge, where you thought he might have had a little bit more value. My bad. Is this Darrell Taylor? I think it is. He again had that massive game against who was it? The freaking Titans in week 1, and then he did absolutely nothing after that. But I mean, just the fact that he has put up solid seasons in the past will make me put him in there. And I'll be honest, do not know who this dude is at the very moment. I have a face recognition again. Maybe Google, we can figure this out. Dante Fowler. What happened to him? He was really good last year, and he kind of tapered off again. I guess he's in the Cowboys now. Dante Fowler, for me, is going to go in rock. He had a really good season last year. Again, I just don't think he put together a consistent enough season in terms of like he kind of fell off towards the end for me to put him in feared. But he played like that for a lot of last year. Micah Parsons right to the top. I don't know what the hell is going on with him and Jerry Jones, but really, I don't really care because he's still one of the best edge rushers in football, and it's really not even that close. Again, it's either him or Aiden Hutchinson. We'll get to in a minute. They're going to be the best in the league at the end of the year. That's what I think. This is Donovan Eziraku. As a rookie, I think he'll actually be a rock. I think he'll put up good numbers. He's just a guy who's very, very tenacious. Despite not having really an elite move, he does have a good power presence. Maybe not as consistent as a guy like Shamar Stewart, but I like his game a lot. And I think again, if he's able to consistently, kind of just like with his instincts, not always getting out of the gap, that could kind of keep him in the field in terms of getting some of those better snaps. Who do we have? Martian Nealand. What's this guy's name? Something Williams. Yeah, I guess that's kind of just a general thing there. But what's his name? Yeah, not Tyrus Sweet, who I'm just insane that he's gotten to this spot. Sam Williams. He's been terrible in camp, and he got injured last year, so I think at this point he's got to go in smoke and mirrors. He's got a lot of stuff to prove for me. I'm just really worried about his actual game. Martian Leland is, honestly, I'll give him a chance. He's a smoke and mirrors. He really just was that last year. From what I've seen, he's really started to grow a little bit more of a edge to his game because he does that. He's always had at least a decent amount of power, but I think it's definitely going to improve a little bit. Peyton Turner, we all know he sucks. Nolan Smith, he's going to go in feared because I think that's where he is. He had a really nice season last year. I really like what I saw in terms of his development as a pass rusher. But how much does that really matter when the fact that you haven't really refined your true number 1 move yet? And until that happens, I don't really know where he's going to go just yet. Who is this? Joshua Uche. He had that one math in 2022. Kind of just been a crappy guy since then in terms of efficiency. I mean, maybe give a good quick pressure once in a while. But I honestly have to throw him in smoke and mirrors because he just has not been a good player the past 2 years. This is Azeez Ojulari. I got to throw him in lunch pail, guys, just because last year he wasn't that efficient whatsoever after, again, a massive rookie season and the other 2 years just not being healthy. He played a decent enough play last year. The fact that, again, I get Kayvon Thibodeau and stuff kind of held him back a little bit. But in the opportunities he got, really didn't do all that much. And the fact, again, with the Eagles, I think he'll get a lot of them. I expect him a massive year. But, again, as of right now, it wasn't that impressive. And the fact that Jalen Hunt is out playing him, I got to put him in the rock. And as a rookie, he had a very nice season, even though no one was really expecting that much. Very good run defender and kind of building himself as a pass rusher. Maybe a guy who could get a 10-sack season if he really plays for it. Brian Burns, right into true. He's the number one guy. Again, he's not an elite guy, but he'll give you really good pressure, and he's your number one guy. That's why you pay him a lot of money. Chauncey Golston, for me, is kind of a lunch pail guy. I think he's a little bit underrated. He gives you solid pressure numbers, and he's also going to be a guy that will consistently win on a counter, which I think is very important for his role. Abdul Carter, again, he's literally just a ghost guy, but as a rookie, I honestly think he'll be a rock. I don't see him being again, obviously, Abdul Carter is, the reason I say he's number one guy, again, Mike Green, again, Abdul Carter is obviously better than him, but Abdul, please tell me that inside counter will be your go-to, because I really like that idea. But at the same time, as a rookie, you know what? Screw it. He's got to go in field right next to Mike Green. He has to. Even though, again, I'm not the biggest fan of him coming into this year, just because he's literally all he uses is a freaking ghost move. Again, like I like the inside counter from preseason, but again, it's freaking preseason, so only take too much out of that. But I have to see more from Abdul Carter to really think that he'll actually be here. But I gotta put him here. There's just too much potential. Kayvon Thibodeau. Spokenmere is probably where he does go, but he's got to be going run. Does he give? I'll put him here because yes, he's not the most fun guy to talk about as a run defender, but he does do a decent job in terms of gap control. Pass rush wise, kind of shit last year, but like again, I don't know. He had like decent enough production for me to keep him here, but like that's kind of just being honest. I'm kind of just giving him the benefit of that, to be honest with you guys. Montez Sweat was terrible last year. He's still got to go in feared though, because like no, he's got to go in rock. He was just so bad last year. I don't know what to tell you guys. He's like literally their entire pass rush, and even then like it was just not good. Kind of just too much for him, and he just got I can't put him in feared because like as a pass rusher, like yeah, he's the only guy who can do anything. But like the fact he still wasn't doing anything is just an issue for me. And I think on film there were games where he just didn't really look like he was really all that energetic. But the fact that he was the only guy that D-line that was getting consistent pressure on, who was like freaking Gervon Dexter maybe. I think that is a little bit of an issue. But honestly, do I just throw him in fear? I'll be nice. We'll go in fear. Because he is the number one edge rusher at the end of the day. Like that's what he is. But like he just was so bad last year. Like I struggled to put him there. Who else do we have? I don't even care at this point. We got Dominique Robertson. I think that's him. He sucks. Dayo Odeyingbo will give him decent pressure. I'm putting him in. Yeah, he'll be a rock for me. Who else do we got in the Bears? Austin Booker maybe. He's not very good. He's gonna go here as well. Aiden Hutchinson, right to the top. I understand this question was about his femur or not femurs, tibula or fibula. No, yeah, fibula and all. But at the end of the day, I think he'll still put up an insane season and be the number one edge rusher by the end of the season. But for now, he'll be not number one. But again, he is absolutely insane. Again, there's got to be someone here that's him and Riker just put up in freaking DPOY already and just take over the top spot. Because you got these two unks here now, they're not that old. That are these four unks actually that are kind of holding you guys back. Not really though. Anyway, these other two guys, I don't even know. Who do we have? The Lions have they honestly just started Aiden Hutchinson out there and kind of just screw with it. Dargus Davenport. Now, this is a guy that is not very good, but he'll still give you some pressure once in a while, so I'll give him some credit there. And I don't know, this Al-Quadin Muhammad, I don't even care. He's going to go in, yeah. And then you got, who even is this dude? We got Josh Paschal right next to him. Like, guys, like, what are we doing here? Lucas Van Ness, he goes right here. He's been absolutely god-awful. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. He's been one of the worst passers I've ever seen the past few years. Has no idea what the hell he's doing. His finesse rush, or whatever the hell you want to call that thing, doesn't work. He has no power whatsoever, and he's an absolutely atrocious run defender. This guy sucks. No way around that. Other guys in the Packers, who do we got? Rashawn Gary. We'll get to him in a second. No, I'll just put him in feared. He gets enough pressure from me, I think, to put him there. He's probably more closer to a guy like Harold Landry than a guy like Jalen Phillips. But the fact that, again, he gets consistent pressure, kind of like a guy like Kyle Van Noy, I think he deserves to be there, more than they actually having really the highest talent level. Kingsley Enagbare is a solid guy. He'll give you some decent pressure. He's going to go right in lunch pail, guys. And then there's the dude they drafted, right? Who is it? Brennan Cox? No. Baron Sorrell, maybe? I don't even know. Yeah, Baron Sorrell. He's not going to play. I mean, if he does, there's an issue. He's a very raw prospect with really not much high upside, to be honest with you, outside of maybe being a serviceable run defender. All right, Jonathan Greenard, go to the top tier. I don't think I can do that. That for some people that might be absurd because of how like just insane the pressure numbers was last year. He's just not as good as these top 6. The consistency isn't there. I understand the performance last year in terms of volume is very well here. He's just talent-wise, in terms of dynamic play, he isn't this good. I understand Trey Henderson realistically is probably the worst out of these 5, but not really. Like, I think he deserves to be there. Like, the disruptiveness in terms of just taking over a game, Jonathan Grenard isn't going to do that at the same level these guys are. It's just the truth there. Even though, again, he absolutely bonkers season. Andrew Van Ginkel, feared. I want to put him in true, but, like, guys, no. He hasn't really been put in a situation where he's been the entire pass rush, and I really like what he's turned into, but he still isn't the guy with an elite enough bull rush for me to put him there. Or any sort of, like, just absolutely bonkers move. But at the same time, like, who cares? He's absolutely just a force out there, and he's just a pain in the neck to go against. Dallas Turner was bad last year. He was smoking mirrors. But I'm putting him lunch pail, guys, because I respect him, and I expect a better year out of him. Yaya Diaby is going to go in feared because he's a higher riser guy. No, he's got to go in rock. He's got work to do. Again, feared is definitely where I want to put him, but like even then, like he didn't put up the same high ceiling reps, I guess, on tape. He's a guy like Nolan Smith. Obviously, you wouldn't expect that to. But like again, for a guy like him who really hasn't put up the production yet to really prove that either, I think this is a good spot to put him for now. Who else? We got Anthony Nelson maybe. He's for me gonna go in lunch. No, he's gotta go in rock too. He's a lunch pail guy, rotational. Hassan Reddick, I don't even know where to put him. Who knows? I don't know. Did not play. He didn't play last year. He kind of sucked when he did. When he's on the field, again, best case scenario, I'll probably say here, but realistically, we have no idea. Bucks. Who else do we got on them? Chris Braswell. He was okay last year. He's more smoke and mirrors, though. Let's be honest there. Jesus, the Falcons. Is this still the Falcons? I don't even know. Leonard Floyd's on the Falcons now, too. What the heck? Who do we got here? David Walker. Oh, I love this dude. Honestly, he'll be a lunch pail guy. Get him some snaps. Especially, again, as a run defender. He'll do a lot for you. Leonard Floyd, for me, is a rock. He's a solid passer. Really nothing more to it. Jalen Walker, as a rookie, I think he's got to go in feared. He's going to do too much in terms of an impact. Him and Aaron Van Ginkel, I think, will have a very similar sort of role. And again, what they're going to actually do as pass rushers, they're very different that way. But in terms of their profile as a hybrid, I really think that he'll be used in a lot of different ways. And the fact that, again, he's just that versatile, I think will really help him out. He might not put up the most insane sack numbers or pressure production, but the fact, again, he has 2 or 3 moves that really work for him, off of the fact that you can really put him in a lot of different places, I think will have a very successful rookie season. James Pierce Jr., put him right in rock. I expect him to have a solid pass rush statistic season, and also probably carve out a really solid role, and maybe even become their best pass rusher. Keep moving. One guy is Arnold Ebiketie still running around or walking the streets of Atlanta? I don't even know. Yeah, he's kind of been better in camp, but he's smoking mirrors. He hasn't really been good. Who else do we got? Is this Panther? It probably is, but I have no idea. Braylon Trice. Yeah, he's bad. He was not good last year. There's no other way to put it. Who else? Is there anyone else I forgot? I hope I didn't forget. I'm really hoping. I think we're good, right? Am I right on that? No, this guy sucks. He's not gonna play. Again, that tier's for that's a very loose end tier. I gotta really change that link now, do I? Anyway though, more on this pass rush. DJ Wonnum, Patrick Jones. Who else do we got? Nick scoring here. In my opinion, I think he'll have a solid season as a rookie. I wasn't the craziest on him, but like in this defense, with Giro Evero and all. That should work out pretty well. This is, what the hell is his name? DJ Wonnum? No, that's got to be DJ Wonnum, right? Prince Inuna, man. I think that's, who else? Is DJ Johnson? Yeah, how the hell is he still on this team? He's trash. I think I put him in here, though. And we got not Mike Jackson, DJ Wonnum, Pat Jones. Pat Jones, DJ Wonnum, Prince Inuna, man, and then the other dude. DJ Wonnum, for me, is a feared guy. He is decent enough production-wise. Nah, he's got to go on rack. He hasn't put up those numbers yet. Or just in terms of the efficiency. Pat Jones is smoke and mirrors. Prince Inuna rookie also I think will be that. I like him a lot, but I'm not the most confident coming into the season with him. Then we've got what's his name? Freaking DJ Johnson. Yeah, he won't play. He sucks. That was a horrible pick by the Panthers a couple years ago. Part of the reason they were in the situation they were in before Bryce Young decided to not suck. I don't know. This is a very interesting group. Carl Granderson for me, honestly, I'll give him his props. He goes in feared. A lot of last season he was put in the number 1 spot and did a really good job. The efficiency numbers do support this as well. I don't know if he's actually this good, but give him his props for that. Chase Young is a rock. He gives you good pass rush, even though he's not exactly the most consistent or really that great of a run defender at this point. Keep moving on with the Saints. I don't even know who else they have because they're so bad. But we got Jonah Williams and Fadil Diggs. Holy crap, this is a mess. Isaiah Foskey, I think this is Isaiah Foskey, right? I might be wrong on that. He's honestly probably smoking mirrors. He's not the worst. And then I don't even know. Is this Jonah Williams? He's kind of respectable, but like still not very good. Josh Sweat for me is gonna go in feared. He's decent. Who else do we got for the Cardinals? There's someone that I'm trying to remember what I saw from them. Oh, I got some notes that I'm starting to pick up on. All right. I think it was Dante Stills. Dante Stills was actually not the worst last year. From what I saw, I don't know where Zaven Collins is. Is he? Oh, there we go. Now I get it. We have Zaven Collins right here. B.J. Ojolari. The Cardinals have a lot of guys. I don't really know these faces great, but where's Baron? Let's just go in order here. Who do we got here? Brother. Like, what are we doing? You know what? We'll just say this is, what's his name? Dante Stills. Dante Stills is smoke and mirrors, but he's not a terrible player. It's just the fact that he just isn't very, like, again, he's not a consistent guy. Zaven Collins. Lunch pail guy. He is versatile enough and developing enough with the athleticism that we all saw coming out of college for him to deserve to be here. Is he a guy that is really a good passer at this point in his career? Probably not, but he's still, like, I don't think he's completely done transitioning. Darius Robinson, rough rookie season overall, but I got to put him lunch pail guys because he at least was decent to get enough against the run and he come off the injury and all that. I expect him to have a much better season, but he's got some work to do. We got, I don't know, Baron Browning. He's a rock. He's a solid guy overall. I don't know if he's going to give you a really efficient pass rush, but it's going to work either way. And then we have Jordan Birch here. I like Jordan Birch a lot. I think he'll probably be a lunch pail guy overall, though, because I don't know if we'll get the snaps as really a run defender to really warrant anything higher. And then what's our last guy? Who's our last guy here? B.J. Ojolari. That's not him, but, like, honestly, he's going to go in lunch pail guys as well. He was really the only guy in that Cardinals outside of Dennis Gardick, who I don't even know where he is. Where is Dennis Gardick? That was really doing much in terms of the pass rusher at all. Yeah, Dennis Gardick, I think we already went through him, but he'd be like around here. That was really doing much of anything, but he didn't get injured and like wasn't that good after. So like, yeah, we'll see what happens with him though. This is not a Seahawk. This is a freaking Niner that I'm just not really making the connection on. This is gonna be this dude maybe. I don't even know who is this. Travis Gibson. He's not even making the roster. That guy. There's no way that guy makes the roster. This is not Marshawn Lynch, bro. Like, what are we doing? Who is this? No, I don't even know who this is. This is some Niner. Some dude. This dude? Sure. He had 3 sacks last year. I'm kind of shocked. I don't know this dude. He doesn't play. Sure. Nick Bosa. Oof, this is tough. Whole box probably? No, he's got to go. Ooh, this is tough. I don't think he's as good as... Oh, this is so tough. Nah, he's got to go on the top tier. He still deserves it. I mean, the production really overall wasn't quite there. You know, yeah, he's got to go here. I'm not saying he's... Like, again, this tier is so close, but he's just not as good as these guys right now. He just isn't. But he again, still absolutely phenomenal. Michael Williams, so overrated. He's still a guy that's a solid guy. He'll give you good production. Like, we all know that. Like, pretty safe pick there. But a little bit high for my liking. Turge Gross Matos. Get out of my face. Is that him? Honestly, I'm just throwing good. This is Bryce Huff. He was absolutely abominably awful last year, but there's no way he's worse, so I'm just going to throw him in lunch pail, guys, until he figures out how to play well. Then we got, I don't know, it was Robert freaking Beal Jr., maybe? I don't know. He plays, I guess. Not much more. No, he's got to go here. I do look at the numbers. Not good. Jared Verse. He's better than Will Anderson, I'll say that. He's not better than Nick Bosa, though. Probably not better than Jonathan Grenard. I'll be nice there. Probably not better than Neil Hunter. No, he's better than Josh Allen. He has the best bull rush in football. I really think that. Again, the reason I don't know, maybe it's not as good as Myles Garrett, but like it is as good as Myles Garrett. Again, he really doesn't have much else outside of that. I guess he has a decent shot move. That's probably being nice. His counter moves aren't awful. He's really great against the run overall. But again, the fact that he doesn't really close out too well sometimes is an issue. But he had a better rookie season than Aiden Hutchinson by a good bit too. It's just the fact that this is just an absolutely loaded pass rush. If I was going to go my top 10 right now, it would probably be Garrett, then Micah Parsons, then Aiden Hutchinson. I understand, but I really think that's going to be happening. TJ Watt, Miles Crosby, Bam. Yeah, I'm good there. I think that's my top, 12? Yeah, that's my top 12 right there. And again, really the only reason Will Anderson is 12 because Josh Allen has been a little bit more of a worse situation overall. But again, Trey Hendrickson is probably not as good. I might switch these two, but again, I think Trey Hendrickson earned it last year with what happened there. Anyway, though, keep moving on with the Rams. I don't even know who's here. We got Byron Young, freaking Josiah Stewart, and Brennan Jackson maybe. Did I say Josiah Stewart? Right, I think I did. How am I just not? Nick Ham, I don't even know who this is. Yeah, Josiah Stewart. We're just going to say this is Brennan Jackson. Brennan Jackson is just not great, but again, you can work with it. Josiah Stewart, I think his rookie will be a lunch pail guy, not really much more. Byron Young, in my opinion, is a rock. He'll give you solid pass production, but he has not been a consistent guy overall in his career. DeMarcus Lawrence overall is probably going inferior. He had a great season last year, and he's still a great run defender. You gotta worry about that. Who we got? Boyo Mafe, Uchenna Nwosu. Go back to this so we can get to the Seahawks as we wrap this up. Uchenna Nwosu, Derek Hall, and Tyreek Smith. All right, Tyreek Smith for me is not a good player. That's not me. I'll put him in smoking mirrors. He had decent enough production. Boyo Mafe will go in feared. He's definitely on the rise there. Uchenna Nwosu was not good last year, but he's still going in lunch pail guys because he's again pedigree and stuff. And then Derek Hall, I like what I saw, but he's still a lunch pail guy. With all that said, though, tough decisions, an absolutely loaded group of players. Again, you see those top 12 guys. These are all truly elite pass rushers. Everyone else is like, this is a whole group of really freaking good guys as well. And then the feared guys, I think, are they're pretty close there as well. These are, again, how many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Plus 12, what is that? There's like about 40 guys I consider that could, at a decent enough time, carry a load as a number one pass rusher, which I think is very, very rare to have at any position in the league. And the fact that that is the case now, I think is great. Definitely going to change throughout next season, but that's what I got in these pass rushers. I hope you guys enjoyed. And again, drop your opinions down in the section below if you think this top 12 is good, because this is actually the ranking. With all that said, if you stuck through the entire thing, crazy. You're just crazy. It's awesome. Anyway, though, last defensive position tomorrow.
Good protection for Bridgewater. Time for DJ Moore, who got behind the defense and now turns on the speed for the touchdown. 74 yards, and the Panthers strike with a big play to New Orleans.
You're going to get confusion in the back end by your safety, Marcus Williams. He's going to jump on the outside, leaving the middle of the field vacated. And we have two guys covering a shorter route on the right, and DJ Moore off to the races in the post. And